The regulatory pressures seem to be about the same, though.
They do.
So this is going to be the third or fourth congressional hearing in just a year where the execs from Google, Twitter, Facebook have been brought up. Not Amazon yet, but they'll be coming up soon to talk about what they do with all the data that they collect. There's no doubt that they have an enormous amount of data. The EU now is looking into what Amazon does with the data that it has in terms of building out private label offerings, which is what retailers have done for years. But Amazon just happens to collect data more quickly and more rapidly than other people have been able to do in the past. So there's a data issue here.
When anyone talks about stock prices, and you try to, one guy's a technician, one guy's deals with fundamentals, are you amazed at the way sometimes it always seems to converge? I mean, these stocks they had an unbelievable run and were ready for some type of pause or pullback, right? And in comes the data problem and the regulation problem. They'd almost converged to explain why these stocks might take a break, right? Or
I think you're absolutely right, Joe.
What do you care about? Fundamentals or just the stocks they had outrun their momentum?
No, fundamentals and valuation. Look, we had a 100% rise in Netflix year to date. You had a 80% rise in Amazon year to date. Like the amount of market, they added 400 billion in market cap. That is going to give you a pause. Valuation does get.
And then this comes along. And you can explain it.
But there's a few names that actually, when you look at, you find high quality assets. I focus on fundamentals, and when you find them dislocated, then that's your opportunity to buy. And to me, the most interesting stock in this group is the one that's most dislocated. That's Facebook. I think Facebook at 160 is the new 20. Remember, after the IPO, the stock corrected all the way down to $20. In hindsight, only in hindsight, that turned out to be a great buying opportunity. I think that's the case here with Facebook at 160. You're paying about an 18, 19 times GAAP PE multiple, a modest premium to the market for what is still the owner of the two largest social media networks in the world, and what is still the owner of the two largest messaging applications in the world.
Having said that, Instagram, we talked yesterday about the founders leaving that company. That's the high growth area for them. And then Mark Benioff was on last night with Jim Cramer saying Facebook needs to be regulated. They screwed this up. You add up all those things, that's a lot of headline risk to jump into right now.
The one I really care about is the first one, which is, look, these companies have been a collection of really great product visionaries. Not always, but sometimes they are. I think that was the case with Instagram. I saw more innovation out of Instagram than, frankly, I've seen out of Facebook the last few years. But this is kind of a natural evolution. We saw this at Amazon in the first 20 years. We've seen it at Google in the first 15 years. When you make these acquisitions, those two founders of Instagram stayed for 6 years. That's unusual, unusual in Silicon Valley era. So it's a loss. I don't think it changes the thesis. Facebook still owns Instagram, and they have an enormous opportunity with the single fastest growing asset, both from an advertiser and a consumer perspective. They have an enormous opportunity to continue to grow it. They could still screw it up, but they've done I think an outstanding job with Facebook over the years.
Do you think they need to buy somebody else to capture younger audiences, or they can do it with what they already have in-house?
I think the biggest impact of regulation, frankly, has been to deny these companies the ability to do large-scale acquisitions. I just don't think that Facebook could buy WhatsApp now. I don't think Google could buy Motorola now. I'm not sure that was a great deal anyway.
Is this a benefit to a company like Snap?
No, Snap had its chance, and it may still have a chance, but they just got out-innovated, 300.
On the product end.
Yes, they did, and that's really all that matters. I focus on fundamentals, and what drives fundamentals is product innovation. And when Instagram did a phenomenal job.